What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Swisher coming back at you with another Texans talk. Shout out to my boy Ray Ray, man. I really like that idea, and it's really not an idea, but we could use that, and just call, whenever we collab, Texans talk. But what I want to talk about today, and what my boy Ray Ray was talking about in this video, we definitely need offensive linemen. It's true, we do. But and I wish I would have, been doing the YouTube videos back, when the draft was was here, because I had some really good insight, guys who were were late round picks. Well, some were first, some were mid, and some were late round picks. But all in all, from the old line's perspective, it was, these guys would have panned out to be pretty good picks. I don't care what anybody. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Just get straight to the point. One guy in particular on the O line well, two guys actually. Um, Connor McGovern. I would have loved to see him down here in Houston. And Joshua Garnett. Yes, there he goes. You know, I would have really liked to see him, come in and fill Brandon Brooks's, shoes, which I still feel like we should have paid him. I mean, at this point, I just want to, I really wonder, if Houston just likes causing problems for themselves. I mean, it's you try to be, New England South and all that shit, and that's all good and dandy. You know, you still have this on your jersey, but this is not New England. You can't do shit like New England. New England has a thing where and I'm gonna get back to, the well, I'm not say prospects, the whole. I'm gonna get back to the old lineman that I was talking about, but I want to touch on this for a second. This is not New England. We are the Houston Texans. Stop trying to be another fucking team. Like, come on. Y'all trying to, y'all got players, and then y'all want to set a price and be like, oh, we're standing by that. We're not giving you another dime. Well, guess what? You caused a fucking problem for yourself, dumbass. Now, Brent, guess what? If you still draft Nick Martin, guess what? Now you've got really good O-line depth because you would have paid Brandon Brooks. You would have had Nick Martin, and then you have Xavier Sulafilo. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's kind of rocky, you know what I'm saying? But you still have continuity and depth. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key to winning football. And like I said, it ties back into, the whole thing of when I say, Houston likes. I wonder if Houston likes causing problems for themselves. Like I said, if you pay Brandon Brooks, you would still have more than enough to open your checkbook to Brock, even though, and I'm personally gonna go on record, even though I like Brock. Here's the game plan that I would have went with. If I'm Bill O'Brien, I would have bet my money on Savage. I mean, how do I put this? If Bill O'Brien doesn't succeed this year, he's gonna be on the hot seat. He would have been on the hot seat anyway. So you could have kept 72 million. And like I said, I like Brock, but I'm just going through the scenario. You could have kept $72 million. You roll with Savage and you build around him. Younger quarterback. in my personal opinion, he has more guts than Brock Osweiler. And what I mean by that, Brock is not going to step up in the pocket and make those, you know, and as much as I hate to fucking say it on the Texans vid, he's not making those Dak Prescott like plays. You know, he's not stepping up and, you know, take, you know, just getting, you know, 4 or 5 yards on a scramble. He wants to sit his tall, lanky ass in the pocket and play pitch, you know, backyard football. And that's not what football is, my friend. It's not. Back to the whole subject of, you know, how this is in New England. You know, you and matter of fact, I want to ask y'all, like, and this is the feeling that I got from that whole game, and I get this feeling every time we play the Patriots. And I said it in a video before. I feel like it's like Bill Belichick cast. It's like he, you know, I know this may sound ridiculous, but it's like he cast a spell on his disciples, and it's like whenever he plays one of the teams that, you know, of a coach that, you know, that was under him, they just suddenly, you know, underperform for some reason, you know, and I don't get it. I really don't, you know. From a talent, like overall talent perspective, we outdo New England 3-1. If you go from their corners, Malcolm Butler is the only named corner, you know. I think they have another one. I can't remember his name right now, but he's a solid number 2. But when you look at Houston's receivers and what we have here, for Malcolm Butler being their best corner, we have DeAndre Hopkins, arguably, you know, one of the best in, you know, in the league. You have your complimentary guy, that other guy over there. We have Will Fuller. They have Devin McCourty, and I'm not comparing. Well, these two I'm not comparing it, but in a matchup situation, I would love to see Brock go this way. You know, they have McCourty. You've got Jalen Strong. You know, and like I said, this offense is supposed to be, you know, pick your poison offense, but I'm only seeing Hopkins as the first read, Fuller as the second read. When Braxton Miller was healthy, he was the third read, and then it's a straight check down to Lamar Miller. That's not gonna cut it. But I went around and I was originally starting about the O-line, and I'm going, like I said, I got back to it. You gotta improve your O-line, man, and I wouldn't necessarily, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, if that's the plan going forward, I support it greatly. If you want to, you know, get the, you know, skill positions out of the way, and then, you know, use the high end picks, you know, your first and maybe second round picks on, you know, decent linemen, I wouldn't be mad at that. But the moves that Rick made in the offseason, as far as the draft goes, he botched it, and I'm going to elaborate why I feel like he botched it. Out of all the players that we drafted, how many are on the field? How many are seeing the field? Will Fuller, Braxton Miller. Everybody else sees the field occasionally. DJ Reader comes in when we're on the goal line. And we all know what he's there for. Play Robin to Vince. Big whoop. We need key contributors, you know what I'm saying? Guys that can work their way onto the field and contribute. Or at least if they can't do that, when their number is called in certain packages, be able to deliver. You know, that's just my personal opinion on that. You know, and again, my plan sorry about that. My plan going into this draft, oh man, it would what the Titans did was my plan. I know a lot of familiar faces. A lot of people are used to seeing those familiar faces, but this roster would have had a complete overhaul. Like starting with starting on the defensive side of the ball. You like I said, you want to be able to pay guys like Brandon Brooks to stay, even though we couldn't. You want to you got to be able to keep continuity. With certain spots, but as far as the defensive side of the ball goes, Kareem Jackson I would have traded him for if I could have gotten a second. I don't think anybody's dumb enough to probably give up a second, but if you can get a late second or potentially a third round pick, I'll take it. Just to add to more picks to what we could have had this year. As much as I respect Kush because I like smoking him, well, I'm not gonna say him. That sounded homo as fuck. No homo. I love smoking Kush. You know. I respect him for what he's accomplished and what he's been able to do, but he's not the same player. And as a GM and as a coach, you got to be on the same page, and you gotta start factoring in. You gotta factor in, things. Okay, this guy's been around 8 years now. He's going up on year 9. At year 8, I'm drafting a guy, to replace you. This is a young man's league. You gotta be able to roll with the punches. Jerry, it happens to the greatest. T.O. did it to Jerry Rice. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even gonna get into that, but that proves my point right there. But my company's back, so I'm gonna cut this one short. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this, but as usual, like, sub, and peace. Shout out to my boy Ray Ray.